If you're anything like me, sometimes you just need a break from the constant grind of multiplayer games and want to dive into something that pulls you in with its story and world. Well, you're in luck, because today, I'm bringing you 15 single-player games that are totally worth your time and money. So, let's get started. Let's kick off this list with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I can't start this list without mentioning this game. This remastered trilogy brings back one of the most iconic sci-fi RPG experiences ever made. And trust me, it's absolutely worth your time. The game lets you step into the shoes of Commander Shepard as you lead your squad across the galaxy, making critical decisions that shape the fate of entire civilizations. What makes this edition even better is how it beautifully updates the visuals and gameplay mechanics, making the entire experience feel fresh while still capturing that classic Mass Effect magic. The bond you form with your crew members, each with their own backstories and personalities, is something truly special. You'll laugh with them, fight alongside them, and sometimes you'll even mourn their losses. The dialogue and choices you make carry so much weight, and by the end of it, you'll feel like you've really been on an epic journey. The world building in Mass Effect is top-notch, with stunning planets to explore and a rich, immersive lore that keeps you hooked from start to finish. So, if you're ready to dive into a galaxy full of adventure, intrigue, and some tough decisions, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is the perfect place to start. Next up is A Plague Tale: Requiem. If you're craving an emotional, narrative-driven experience with a dark, medieval twist, A Plague Tale: Requiem should be at the top of your list. The sequel to Innocence doesn't just revisit the grim world of Amicia and Hugo, it elevates the entire experience with even more intense storytelling, stunning visuals, and refined gameplay mechanics. You're back in the thick of it, sneaking through rat-infested villages, taking on brutal soldiers, and unraveling the deeper mysteries surrounding the siblings. What really makes Requiem worth your time is how it expands on the original game's foundation. The story is more gripping, with higher stakes and a narrative that pulls you in from the get-go. Amicia's combat skills are sharper than ever, giving you more freedom to tackle enemies head-on or slip by unnoticed, depending on your style. Hugo's powers have also evolved, adding new layers to the gameplay that make each encounter feel fresh and exciting. The game world itself is a visual treat, with its rich, detailed environments that range from crumbling castles to serene countrysides. Every setting feels alive and meticulously crafted. You can spend hours just soaking in the atmosphere, but watch out because danger is always lurking around the corner. If you're new to the series, I'm sure you're not familiar with what I just said about the characters. If that's the case, then I recommend getting Innocence first, before this one, to fully understand and soak the world of this game. I also just want to clarify that both games are totally worth buying. Up next, we have Sefue. There's just something about Sefue that makes it a standout in the world of martial arts games. It's an absolute gem, especially for those who appreciate a challenge, and I've got to say that every penny you spend on this game is totally worth it. Now, I've played other games like Sekiro, and I also love that, but there's just something about Sefue that really hooked me. Sefue delivers a unique experience with its punishing yet rewarding combat system. You step into the shoes of a young martial artist on a quest for vengeance, fighting your way through beautifully crafted levels filled with enemies that won't go down easy. The game doesn't hold your hand, pushing you to master its fluid combat mechanics, which blend fast-paced action with strategic depth. Every punch, kick, and dodge feels like a well-choreographed dance, and it's this precision that makes Sefue so addictive. There's also this game's aging mechanic, which is a brilliant twist, where each death ages your character, impacting both your abilities and appearance. Unlike other games where you just respawn and do the usual thing, here, death means something. It's a quite unique feature that makes this game even more playworthy. Next up is Mafia Definitive Edition. If you're in the mood for a classic gangster experience, Mafia Definitive Edition is a game you should seriously consider, especially since it's currently 80% off on Steam right now, making it a steal. This remake breathes new life into the original Mafia game, which has always been a staple for fans of crime dramas. The developers didn't just slap on some new graphics, they overhauled everything, from the gameplay mechanics to the storyline, while staying true to the game's roots. Whether you're getting into intense shootouts, engaging in high-speed chases, or just cruising around the city, there's always something going on that keeps you hooked. What I love about this game is how it immerses you in its world. The 1930s setting is beautifully recreated, with attention to detail that makes every street corner feel authentic. Plus, the storyline has been expanded, giving you even more reasons to dive into this criminal underworld. You'll find yourself pulled into the life of Tommy Angelo, a cab driver turned mobster, as he navigates through the ups and downs of organized crime. Sure, the game can be challenging at times, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be pulling off heists and escaping the cops like a pro. With its rich narrative, improved gameplay, and ridiculously low price right now, Mafia Definitive Edition is a game that's absolutely worth every penny. If you've ever wanted to experience the golden age of crime, now's the perfect time to do it. Moving forward, we have Gears 5. This is a game that takes the brutal cover-based shooting the series is known for and cranks it up several notches. One of the first things that grabbed me was how the game mixes up the pacing with its open world segments, giving you more freedom to explore and strategize between those intense firefights. The combat remains as satisfying as ever, with a whole arsenal of weapons to play around with and enemies that keep you on your toes. I loved how the game dives deeper into the personal struggles of its characters, blending those gritty, high-octane moments with some truly emotional storytelling. The variety of modes is another highlight, keeping the experience fresh every time you pick up the controller. Whether you're jumping into the campaign, teaming up with friends in co-op, or facing off against waves of enemies in horde mode, there's always something exciting to do. And don't even get me started on the multiplayer. It's pure adrenaline, with fast-paced action that had me hooked for hours. Gears 5 also nails the visual and audio design, making every battle feel epic. The environments are stunning, with beautifully rendered landscapes that make the world feel alive and war-torn at the same time. The attention to detail is crazy, and it adds to the overall immersion. This game is a must-play for anyone who enjoys a mix of intense action and gripping storytelling. If you're a fan of the series or just love a good shooter, Gears 5 delivers on all fronts. Stellar Blade might not be the cheapest game out there, but it's one of those experiences that's worth every cent. Just like you, I've also played a lot of action games, and Stellar Blade feels like a masterful blend of everything I love about the genre. Whether it's the fluid combat, the stunning visuals, or the intense, story-driven moments that pull you right in. The game throws you into a world that's as beautiful as it is deadly, with environments that range from futuristic cities to desolate landscapes, each packed with details that make exploring them a real treat. One thing that really stands out in Stellar Blade is how it balances its combat system. It's challenging enough to keep you on your toes, but not so punishing that you feel overwhelmed. The fluidity of the combat, paired with the variety of moves and abilities at your disposal, makes every encounter feel fresh and exciting. Whether you're taking on hordes of enemies or facing off against a massive boss, there's a real sense of satisfaction when you pull off a perfect combo or dodge a lethal attack. The story is another strong point, weaving together a narrative that's both engaging and emotionally charged. It's the kind of game that pulls you in with its characters and keeps you invested with its twists and turns. If you're into action-packed games with a strong story and jaw-dropping visuals, Stellar Blade is definitely a must-play. Next on the list, we have Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden. This is one of those games that might not be on everyone's radar, but it really should be. It's an action-packed RPG that can be a bit overwhelming for newcomers, especially if you're not used to juggling intense combat with deep storytelling. But for those who love a good challenge, Banishers is a game that's absolutely worth your time and money. The game had me hooked from the start with its eerie atmosphere and the constant tension of navigating a world filled with spirits and mysteries. I've got to admit that there are parts that's a bit dull, but come on, I think that's not enough reason for you not to try this one. Because once you pass through these dull moments, an amazing encounters and discovering hidden secrets awaits for you. Plus, the main story will make up for it, which is totally worth it. It's also a game that rewards exploration. As you venture deeper into New Eden, you'll find all sorts of hidden treasures and side quests that add to the richness of the world. The combat can be unforgiving at times, but once you get the hang of it, you'll find yourself pulling off some seriously satisfying moves. If you're looking for a game that challenges you both in terms of gameplay and storytelling, Banisher's Ghosts of New Eden is definitely one to check out. Next up is Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth takes everything we loved about the original and cranks it up to 11. The first thing that really stood out for me was how they tweaked the tactical combat system, making it even more fluid and adaptable. It's such a smooth evolution from the previous game, allowing you to engage in battles with more flexibility and strategy. The core experience remains the same, packed with that signature mix of humor, drama, and intense action that the series is known for. But there's something about this installment that feels even more refined. What keeps me coming back, though, is the sheer amount of content. There's just so much to do. Whether you're taking on a bunch of rowdy thugs, diving into the countless side quests, or getting lost in one of the many mini-games, you're never short of things to keep you busy. The game also gives you the chance to manage your own businesses, adding another layer of depth and giving you more ways to engage with its world. And let's not forget the storytelling. Infinite Wealth balances its quirky moments with genuinely touching scenes, all while weaving in a gripping crime narrative that keeps you invested from start to finish. It's that perfect blend of everything the series does best, and with all these enhancements, it's a game that promises to keep you entertained for hours on end. If you loved the previous titles, this one is an absolute must-play. Up next, we have the indie horror darling, Little Nightmares. Little Nightmares is the kind of game that crawls under your skin and lingers long after you've put it down. If you're into horror games with a unique twist, this one is an absolute must-play. The game throws you into the shoes of a tiny, raincoat-clad protagonist named Six trying to escape from the Maw, a dark and twisted place filled with grotesque creatures that want nothing more than to catch you. The art style is something to admire, with its eerie, Tim Burton-esque visuals that make every shadow seem alive. It's not just the visuals though, the sound design is equally haunting, with every creak and whisper adding to the tension. The gameplay itself is a mix of platforming and puzzles, but it's the atmosphere that keeps you hooked. Every room in the Maw feels like a new nightmare, and the sense of dread is constant. There's also a disturbing, almost surreal quality to the game's world, where nothing is quite right, and everything seems designed to unsettle you. My favorite moments, though, are those heart-pounding chase sequences where you're running for your life. Knowing one wrong move could mean your end. It's that mix of fear, tension, and relief that makes Little Nightmares such a standout horror experience. Whether you're a seasoned horror fan or just looking for something different, this game is definitely worth diving into. Next in line is Dragon's Dogma 2. This game is shaping up to be the kind of RPG that fans have been waiting for. This game is a real gem in the action RPG genre, taking everything that made the original so captivating and pushing it even further. You're back in the shoes of the Arisen, but this time, the world feels even more alive and dangerous. The game blends exploration, combat, and story in a way that keeps you hooked from the moment you start your journey. The combat in the game is also really commendable. It's fast, fluid, and incredibly satisfying. And the best part? The game gives you the freedom to approach battles your way, whether that means climbing onto a griffin's back to bring it down or strategically targeting an enemy's weak points. But it's not just about the action. The world of Dragon's Dogma 2 is filled with secrets to uncover and mysteries to solve. You'll encounter a variety of characters, each with their own stories and quests, adding depth to the game's narrative. If you're looking for an RPG that offers a perfect mix of challenge, exploration, and story, Dragon's Dogma 2 is definitely worth your time. If you're in the mood for some intense survival horror, the Dead Space remake should be at the top of your list. This iconic horror game has been revamped with stunning visuals that make every dark corridor even more terrifying, and every necromorph encounter feel more gruesome than ever. You're once again stepping into Isaac Clarke's shoes, trapped on the USG Ishimura, a spaceship crawling with horrifying mutants ready to tear you apart. The remake doesn't just stop at visual upgrades, it also improves gameplay mechanics, making the zero-gravity sections more fluid and immersive, adding to the overall dread. Combat in Dead Space has always been a tense experience, and the remake takes it up a notch. The strategic dismemberment is back, and it's never been more satisfying to blast off limbs and watch as the necromorphs desperately try to keep coming at you. And let's talk about the atmosphere. This game nails it. Every creak of the ship, every distant screech keeps you on edge, making you feel like danger is lurking around every corner. For those craving more than just a straightforward playthrough, the game also offers harder difficulty modes that test your nerves and survival instincts. Dead Space Remake isn't just a return to a classic. It's a masterful reimagining that honors the original while adding just enough modern touches to make it feel fresh and even more terrifying. If you're a fan of horror games, this is one you can't afford to miss. Next on the list, we have Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus is one of those rare games that you should definitely play if you own a PlayStation. It's not your typical action-adventure title. This game is all about atmosphere, emotion, and epic battles that truly test your skill. Now, I won't lie, this game can be daunting, especially if you're new to it. But if you're up for an experience that's both challenging and deeply rewarding, Shadow of the Colossus is absolutely worth every penny. Now, since there's a remake of this game, expect everything from the original to be even better. By just simply looking at the unique premise of the game, you know that you're getting more than what you just paid. The goal here is simple. Simply defeat those massive colossi. There are no small enemies, no side quests. Just you, the landscape, and these towering beasts. The thrill of scaling these giants, finding their weak points and finally bringing them down is unlike anything else in gaming, but it's not just the gameplay that makes this game special. The world feels alive, yet eerily empty, the music swells at just the right moments, and the story, told with minimal dialogue, tugs at your heartstrings in unexpected ways. If you're still thinking twice if you're getting this game, then I hope this explanation will make you finally get it. I mean, come on. This is one of the games that I really loved back then, which is not a surprise why I keep on recommending this one to everyone. Next is Horizon Forbidden West. If you've been following my channel for a while, there's a good chance you've already grabbed Horizon Forbidden West. I've talked about this game quite a bit, and for a good reason. It's a modern-day masterpiece that not only dazzles with its breathtaking visuals, but also delivers some of the most exhilarating gameplay out there. I'm a huge fan of how the game handles combat. It's actually really satisfying. You get to take down massive robotic beasts with a mix of strategy and brute force. Or you can play it smart, setting traps and using the environment to your advantage. What really sets Horizon Forbidden West apart, though, is its open world design. The world is just so alive, with a diverse range of landscapes that are begging to be explored. Plus, the character development is top-notch, with Aloy's journey feeling both personal and epic. If you haven't picked this one up yet, you're seriously missing out. The sheer scale of the game, combined with its rich storytelling and heart-pounding action, makes it a must-play for any fan of open-world adventures. Trust me, this is one game that's worth every minute of your time. I couldn't let Ghost of Tsushima pass by without a mention. This gem of a game offers an unforgettable single-player journey that's absolutely worth diving into. You step into the shoes of Jin Sakai, a samurai warrior fighting to protect his home from a Mongol invasion. What sets this game apart is its incredible attention to detail and its stunningly crafted open world, where you can explore beautiful landscapes, from serene forests to vibrant fields of flowers. Ghost of Tsushima isn't just about looking pretty though. The combat system is exhilarating. You can go full samurai with intense sword fights, or use stealth to take down enemies from the shadows. The variety in combat styles and the freedom to approach missions in different ways really add to the experience. However, the true heart of the game lies in its story and its depiction of Japanese culture. The narrative is deeply engaging, filled with moments that are both uplifting and heart-wrenching. The bond between Jin and the people he meets throughout his journey makes every victory and setback feel significant. If you haven't picked this game up yet, you're in for a treat. It combines breathtaking visuals with compelling gameplay and storytelling, making it a must-have for any fan of action-adventure games. The final game on this list is Black Myth: Wukong, the long-awaited action RPG that's finally out and taking the gaming world by storm. I've been keeping an eye on this one ever since the first trailer dropped, and now that it's fully released, the hype is real. This game is delivering on all fronts. Inspired by the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West, Black Myth: Wukong lets you step into the shoes of the legendary Monkey King, battling your way through a world filled with mythical creatures and breathtaking landscapes. From what I've played so far, the combat is as satisfying as it gets. Every swing of your staff, every dodge, and every spell you cast feels fluid and impactful. The game's visuals are nothing short of stunning, with every environment and creature meticulously detailed. The attention to detail is mind-blowing, from the lush forests to the ominous caves. You can really tell that the developers poured their hearts into crafting this world. What's even better is the positive response it's getting from the community. Gamers everywhere are praising its challenging gameplay, immersive world, and faithful adaptation of the source material. It's rare to see a game live up to its hype, but Black Myth: Wukong is doing just that. If you're into action RPGs or just looking for a fresh, visually striking adventure, this game should be at the top of your list. And that wraps up our list of 15 single-player games that is totally worth buying. If any of these games caught your eye, or if you've already played them and loved them, let me know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.